Yo, what's up, YouTube? Today we're gonna go over Sirius, Battlerites, and Loadout. Sirius, the Zenith. So let's go over the Battlerites first. We got Debilitating Slash. Charge Crescent Strikes, weaken duration increased by 1 second, and the factor increases by 10%. This right is so good. I think it's almost too good. The fact that your weaken gets increased by 1 second all by itself is insane. And then just adds a nice 10% onto it. So you get a 60% weaken. I think it's for 3.5 seconds every time you land a charged M1. So what this means is, if there is a melee on you, let's say a Shifu. Shifu, I guess. He uses a material, you charged M1. He's doing less than 5 damage M1s. Which means once you land the weaken effect, you can pretty much ignore any damage that the person's doing to you. And doubly so for healers, right? So if you get weakened as a healer, you definitely don't want to be healing because, let's say you're Blossom, you're doing 8 heals, right? It's not a lot. Well, I guess Blossom base is 12, so you'd be doing 6. Really good, right? Lethal Slash, Charge Crescent Strike deals 6 bonus damage. So this is your charged M1. You hit it, does 28 damage instead of 22. Really good, right? For me, this is an always pick because of Sirius's playstyle. It's pretty one-dimensional. It's getting your charged M1s off, healing when you have to. But most of the time, it's really good for just damage output, but it's also good for orb control, right? It's really easy to combo with your teammates to get the orb, and it's really easy to steal the orb at 28 health. Zero Cycle, your weapon recharges 30% faster. This is an okay, right, I guess. Somewhat okay. There's just so many other ways to recharge your weapon. Through your X base, your Q, even if you get the Celestial Cycle, the R, right? That just having like a passive 30% increase, it's okay. It's okay. Radiance, Sunlight heals you for 6 health when an ally is healed. So you heal your ally with your M2 and you get 6 health for it. I don't think this would be the greatest. Because, first of all, seriously, you don't want to be sitting back and just healing, right? You want to be kind of in all of the action. And 6 health isn't going to, really save you or really make that much of a difference when it comes to that. Sunbath, Charge Crescent Strike hits and power your next sunlight, causing 1 additional beam to strike the same area, healing nearest ally for 12 health. I think this right is really good. The problem is because you can't see the stats on Sunbath, it's really hard to see how much actual value you get from it. It synergizes well with just this kit in general because you're getting your charged M1. You M2 yourself, that's his base heal on M2 plus the Sunbath heal. You get your counter proc, you M1 again, you get another Sunbath charge. So it can be really powerful. It's just hard to gauge how efficient it actually is. Cosmic Reach. Celestial Split deals 4 bonus damage and max distance is increased by 20%. It's an okay, right? Like, more damage on your space is always good. At least if you're spacing on the enemy. And then the distance increase is just like a nice bonus. The thing is with Sirius, I never feel like oh shoot, I just spaced a little too short, I feel like it's really easy to get in position to use the space. And the other problem is that Sirius has like one really good loadout for his playstyle, and this one just doesn't make the cut. Could be okay. Sunwell, Celestial Split heals 8 more health. Healing an ally reduces its cooldown by 4 seconds. Now this Battlerite is amazing. I think this is a must pick for Sirius. It makes your space, which heals for 10, heal for 18, and it's an AoE. And it reduces your space cooldown by 4 seconds. That's the kicker, right? So if you're spacing in on top of your frontliner and you heal him, you have 4 seconds. That's like the window that the enemy has to punish you, right? Before your space is up again. But you have your charged M1, weakens them, you don't take that much damage, and you also have your counter, where you can do the mind games with the counter, getting your counter procced. And then if, all that doesn't work, you just space out in 4 seconds later. Also, it makes it so that you can actually use your space to heal instead of, just going in with it or going out. Sometimes my ranged friend will be taking a lot of damage and he needs like a burst heal. I'll M2 space him, get the M2 heal, get the 18 heal. He'll be full life, and there's a less downtime before I can go offensive or go in as well. Really good, right? Daybreak, mobility, sunrise can be recast for 1.5 seconds to return to the original location. I think this is a really fun right. I think you can do a lot of cool stuff with it. It's really hard to track the Sirius. The problem is, especially with any counter rights, why I don't like them is they're inconsistent. And they're snowbally or momentum based. Like basically any character with a counter, if you hit the counter, you're already in trouble, right? So it's kind of like adding to that effect. It's not actually like covering weaknesses or stuff like that. So the thing with this is, you get your counter procced, you go in, you M1, and then you have 1.5 seconds to get out again. So it makes it so you can save your space, for other positional things. But again, it's based on getting your counter procced, which is never guaranteed, never consistent. It's fun though, I like it. It's fun. You go this illumination, sunrise illuminates self and allies, increases damage output by 20 and healing received by 20 for 3 seconds. Again, counter right. I don't really like it. And then it's a counter right that kind of dictates your movement as well to get the value. So a lot of times I get my counter procced, and I want to go on the back line and M1 and then space out, or go behind the wall in LOS and be safe. So with this, to get value, I gotta direct my counter on my frontline, or I gotta direct my counter on my range. Positioning wise, I just don't like being that close to my teammates. But I guess it depends on the matchup. But yeah, so it has the consistency effect where it's not going to be consistent because it's on a counter, and then it's like also dictating your playstyle, which I don't really like. Sunscreen, sunrise grants self and nearby allies a shield that absorbs 16 damage and lasts up to 2.5 seconds. It's like the same problem as illumination, except the 16 shield isn't really anything, right? So it's not consistent because it's on a counter, and it has a pretty weak shield, and you only get value if the shield takes damage at the same time. So there's just so many conditionals that when there's so many conditionals, it makes it so it's really hard to get consistent value. And I don't like that. Lunar Charge. Each lunar strike hit charges your weapon by 25%. Oh, sorry. I just had a brain fart. So you land your E, and that's your CC, right? Your AoE CC, and it recharges your weapon. I haven't really messed around with this, but it's kind of like the same thing with Blossom, where to get value out of it, you have to land your charged M1, and then you have to land an E. So it's dictating your playstyle. It's dictating, I need to do this before I do this, right? And sometimes, a lot of the time, it happens where you need to land your E, and then after that, you go in, right? So I land my E on like the healer, and then I go in on the DPS, right? So I don't get that 25% recharge. It does, I think, synergize with Lunatic, though. So you could do something cheesy and make it work. But I don't think Sirius has a problem with getting his charges, right? I really don't. I wouldn't pick it. Lunatic, Lunar Strike can be recast for a short time period to spawn a lesser Lunar Strike. This Battlerite is ridiculous. Ridiculous. First of all, Lunar Strike. Oh, yeah, Lunar Strike, the E, AoE is so big. It's so easy to hit this AoE. So it's a Petrify, gives them a shield, but especially if you're playing in competitive, it's so easy to combo off of this. Or it's so easy to stack the CC, right? Or it's somewhat easy to land the stones on multiple targets. You know, E the healer, E somebody else. I feel like this is just a must pick right now, just because of the value that you can get out of it. Obviously, if you can't hit your moon or your lunar strike, it's gonna suck. But more often than not, you're hitting this, getting value out of it. A really good Battlerite. Moonstone. Successful sunlights reduce the cooldown by lunar strike by 1 second. I can see this being good in certain instances. I don't think it's a must pick at all. I think it's just kind of nice. Honestly, don't think when I play Sirius, I'm never like, oh, I wish I had my lunatic up or my lunar strike up, right? I feel like it's just always up. Just going through like the natural progression or the natural fight cycle. Like you lunar strike one target, you do it another one, you space in, you M1, you get your counter proc, you M1 again. You know, you heal a little bit, and then you know that's his rotation, and then you have your lunar strike up again. So I don't see where having it sooner would actually. I mean, it could happen. It's just like not consistent again, right? Celestial Cycle, Prismatic Strike hits recharge your weapon by 50 cents. This one is so good. Oh man, it's so good. Why wouldn't you get this one? It gets additional value versus Pestilence and Blossom, especially if they're grouped up. There's just so many cool things you can do with it, right? So if you hit a tree or you hit a queen, you know, that counts for 50%. If you hit 2 targets, that counts as 100%. So you M1 somebody, let's say the blossom is right next to a tree, you hit the tree and her, you have another charged M1. You hit that charged M1, you use some sick mind game, you get your counter proc, you hit another charged M1, she spaces away, you X space, another charged M1. That's like 28 times 4. Obviously that's like a really nice scenario, but there's just so many things you can do with it. Even mid orb grants the 50%, so if there's like a melee hitting the mid orb, you can R that, hit him and the mid orb, and then hit the mid orb or hit him, you know? Really good. Gravity, Astral Beam inflicts a 35% snare on targets. I mean, this is a good right in itself. The problem is that, like I said before, Sirius just has like a loadout, and it's really good for his playstyle. So I just don't see where I could drop a Battlerite to pick up Gravity. Yeah. A lot of times you're using bananas as well, your XM1, so I don't know. It's a good right though. Good right. All right, let's look at the A loadout, like the base loadout that everyone, or you should go for Sirius as of right now. I go Lethal Slash. Give me that 6 bonus damage. That's 28 damage on your M1. So many ways to proc or to get your charged M1. Sirius is just so like feast or famine, so snowball, so momentum based. If you're in there getting your counter proc, landing your charged M1s, landing your abilities, it's really oppressive and crazy. If you're not getting your counter procced, if you're not getting charged M1 off, you're just like dead weight, and it sucks. So he's fun though. I like him. So Lethal Slash just adds to the M1 power. Debilitating Slash, same thing. You're doing 28 damage, and then you're putting a 60% weaken down for 3.5 seconds. Like, no one's winning that trade, right? They're running away. Someone comes on, you hit that, and then they do all their abilities. They, like, definitely lost the trade. Good stuff. Then you go Sunwell. We're gonna do that one last. Then you go Lunatic. Again, the lesser Lunar Strike, the CC, the stacking CC. It's crazy. You know, it can be used as defensive as well. Sometimes you'll see me, a melee player will be on me, and you know, I'll E on top of myself when I think they're gonna jump on me, and then I'll walk back, wait till the recast timer is almost empty, and then I'll recast a lesser Lunar Strike. So what happens is, even if it doesn't land, it gives me time to get my CDs back. It gives me time to get my charged M1, to get my Q, to get my space. It can be used as like a last resort safety measure, right? So good. So many uses. And then Celestial Cycle. Wait. Let's go. What am I missing here? Yeah, oh, okay. You do get Sunwell, no matter what. Sorry. It might take a while to get used to it, but like I said before, just having your space on such a low cooldown just opens up so many possibilities for you positionally, and reduces like your punish window super hard on your space. And I wanted to save this one last, Celestial Cycle, because it is like a powerhouse, right? But I think you can swap it out for Sunbath in certain situations. Like I said, I don't know how much value you actually get from this additional beam. I'd really like to see advanced stats of how much, like it actually hitting, right? Because sometimes your teammate will run out of it, so sometimes it's best just to heal yourself with a Sunbath and use your charges on your ally. So it's definitely more defensive if you need more heals, especially with the state of the game right now. There's a lot of damage going out, and on most healers, like, I'll be out of charges a lot of the time. So this helps. This also can mitigate punishes on yourself. So if you're like me, sometimes you space in charged M1 and then counter right away, and you know, we'll say 50% of the time people don't hit that counter, and then you're sitting there like, oh, I have nothing. Well, you do have your Sunbath, right? And then you have 3 charges. So with that, that's a lot of healing to kind of mitigate the punish, right? You can like try to just like spam heal yourself with the Sunbath, which sometimes you need to do. But I guess if you're playing optimally, you just get Celestial Cycle and you just do the damage back. So I would recommend this loadout for most situations. Again, Sunbath can be swapped in at your discretion. It's pretty fun. I like it. Alright guys, that was the Sirius loadout. Thanks for watching. More to come. I'll see you guys later. Bye.